Good morning, students. I am Samatha, lecturer in chemistry, GDC Women Hussain. Okay, students. Today we will discuss about some theories which are present in coordination compounds. Now, the first theory is Werner's theory. The main postulates of Werner's theory are most of the elements exhibit two types of valencies. One is primary valency and second one is secondary valency. According to Werner's theory, uh, most of the elements shows two types of valencies. In that, first one is primary valency and next is secondary valency. According to Werner's, primary valency means it corresponds to oxidation state of metal. It is also called as a principal ionizable or ionic valency, and it is satisfied by negative ligands. It can be represented by dotted lines within the bracket. Here lines also showing here. This primary valency is represented by a dotted line. According to Werner's theory, most of the metals shows two types of valencies. One is primary valency, second one is the secondary valency. Primary valency is corresponds to the oxidation state of the metal. Means here the metal oxidation state is equals to the primary valency. Primary valency corresponds the oxidation state of metal. It is also called a principal ionizable or ionic valency. Ionic valency means it ready to ionizable when on hydrolysis process, whatever it may be. Ionizable means this valency is ready for ionization process. Means this primary valency is the weak valency. Means here there is not a strong bond is present, just ionic bond is present. And this primary valency is satisfied by the negative ligands. Negative ligands are satisfied this primary valency of a metal. It can be represented by dotted lines. In structure of metal complexes, primary valency is represented by dotted line. Next is secondary valency. Secondary valency is corresponds to the coordination number. It is also called as non-ionizable, non-ionic, and it is satisfied by either negative ligands or neutral molecules, and it can be represented by thick line or normal line. Here line is also there. This is in structure of metal complexes, primary valency represented by dotted line, secondary valency represented by normal line or thick line or solid line, whatever it may be. Primary valency is equals to oxidation state of the metal, and secondary valency is equals to the coordination number of metal. And this secondary valency is non-ionizable, non-ionic. Means here strong bond is present, so it is not readily ionizable when participates in hydrolysis. Strong bond is present, so it is non-ionizable, non-ionic bond. And the secondary valency is satisfied either negative ligands or neutral molecules. It can be represented by thick line or solid line. Sometimes negative ligands satisfied both the valencies, primary and secondary valencies. In that conditions, the bond represented by two dotted line and thick line between the ligand and metal. Sometimes it happens. Werner's theory examples four complex structures are there: COCl3 6NH3, COCl3 5NH3, COCl3 6NH3, COCl3 5NH3, COCl3 4NH3, COCl3 3NH3. To explain Werner's theory, uh, Werner taken 4 examples of one complex. Let us see the structures of these complexes. First one is the COCl3 6NH3 hexaamine cobalt 3 chloride complex. The Werner formula of this complex is CONH3 taken 6. This hexaamine cobalt is presenting within the square bracket, means this is the coordination sphere. Outside Cl3 minus ions are present. COCl3 6NH3, this is the normal formula of this complex. Here the Werner formula of this complex is this one, CONH3 taken 6 within the bracket Cl3. When it undergo hydrolysis to form 4 ions, when it is treated with AgNO3 solution, 3 moles of AgCl precipitate is formed. According to this, here when this complex undergo hydrolysis process, how many ions are formed here? 4 ions are formed. 4 ions means one is the complex ion, CONH3 taken 6, 3 plus, that is the complex. Outside 3 Cl minus ions are present. So one complex ion, 3 Cl minus ions. Total 4 ions are formed. When it is treated with AgNO3 solution, 3 moles of AgCl precipitate is formed. 3 moles of AgCl is formed means what? 3 Cls are satisfied primary valency only, means here 3 Cls are bonded with metal as a dotted bond, means ionic bond. That's why when this complex treated with AgNO3 solution, these Cls are readily react with AgNO3 solution and form AgCl precipitate. By doing this AgNO3 reaction, we know that Cl minus ions are satisfied only primary valency. These are bind with metal atom as a ionic bond. That's why these are easily break down the bond and form AgCl precipitate. This is the structure of COCl3 6NH3. Here central metal atom is cobalt. 6NH3 ligands are present. 6 NH3s are represented by thick lines or normal lines. Means here 6 NH3 ligand satisfy secondary valency. 3 Cls are satisfied the primary valency. Here primary valency compulsory satisfied with the negative ligands, but secondary valency satisfied by either negative or neutral ligands. Here NH3 is the neutral ligand, Cl minus ions are the negative ligands. So Cl minus negative ligands satisfied primary valency, neutral ammonium ligand satisfied secondary valency. According to Werner theory, hexaamino cobalt 3 complex structure is like this. 6 normal bonds are present and 3 ionic bonds are present. Normal bonds are secondary valency, dotted bonds are primary valency according to Werner's theory. Next example, COCl3 5NH3. pentaamino cobalt 3 chloride complex. Means here pentaamino chloro cobalt 3 chloride. Werner formula of this complex is CONH3 taken 5 Cl square bracket. Here within the square bracket is CONH3 taken 5 and 1 Cl. Within the square bracket means the ligands which are satisfied secondary valency, those are present in square bracket, means within the coordination sphere. So here Cl also satisfied secondary valency. Here secondary valency is equal to the coordination number na. Here cobalt coordination number is 6, so only 5 NH3 are present. One more vacant is there, that vacant is filled by Cl minus ion. Sixth vacant position is filled by Cl minus ion, so Cl also enter into the coordination sphere here. So CONH3 taken 5 Cl within the bracket, 2 Cls are outside the sphere, Cl2. According to Werner's theory, COCl3 5NH3 formula is like this. So it produces 3 ions during the hydrolysis process. When this complex undergo hydrolysis process, only 3 ions are formed. One is complex ion and 2 Cl minus ions. Complex does not undergo ionization. Complex present like complex only, that is not ionizable complex. Only outside the ions are ionizable. So here outside only 2 Cl ions are present. So 2 Cl minus ions, 1 complex. Total 3 ions are formed when this complex undergo hydrolysis process. And when we are treated this complex with AgNO3 solution, only 2 moles of AgCl precipitate is formed. From this reaction we know that only 2 AgCl precipitates are formed. 2 moles of AgCl means here only 2 Cl minus are present in ionic bond, or 2 Cl minus ions are satisfied primary valency. We know that point from this AgNO3 reaction. The complex structure is like this. Cobalt, first 6 thick lines, we see the thick lines, 5 thick lines are satisfied with NH3, means secondary valency is satisfied by 5 NH3 molecules and 1 Cl minus, and this Cl shows dual nature, means here one of the Cl minus satisfied both valencies, primary and secondary valency. That's why 2 bonds are shown here. Okay, one is thick bond, another one is dotted bond. Thick bond or thick line is for secondary valency, dotted line is for primary valency. And 2 Cl minus satisfied only primary valency, 5 NH3s are satisfied secondary valency, but only 1 Cl minus satisfied both the valencies, primary and secondary. Next, third example is the COCl3 4NH3 complex. Werner formula of this complex is CONH3 taken 4 Cl2 within the sphere. Outside the sphere 1 Cl minus is present. 1 Cl is present. Here to satisfy secondary valency only 4 ammonia ligands are present. Two more coordination positions are vacant. So 2 Cl minus ions enter into the coordination sphere and satisfy the secondary valency. So outside the sphere only 1 Cl is present. When it undergoes hydrolysis to form 2 ions, means this complex on hydrolysis process give only 2 ions. One is a complex ion, another one is the Cl minus ion. And when it is treated with AgNO3 solution to form 1 mole of AgCl precipitate. Because only 1 Cl is satisfied by primary valency, that is only in ionic bond. So when this complex is treated with AgNO3 solution, only 1 Cl react with AgNO3 and form 1 mole of AgCl precipitate. By using of this reaction, we know that only 1 Cl is in ionic bond. So here the structure of complex cobalt, 6 coordination lines are there, thick lines or normal lines, are satisfied by 4 ammonia and 2 chlorines, or shows dual nature, means 2 chlorines satisfied both the valencies, primary and secondary valencies. Only 1 Cl satisfied primary valency. This is about COCl3 4NH3 complex. Next, last example, COCl3 3NH3 complex. Werner formula of this complex is CONH3 taken twice Cl3 within the coordination sphere, means bracket. Here no outside ions are present, so it does not ionize on hydrolysis, and when it is treated with AgNO3 solution, no precipitation of AgCl is formed. Means here there is no ionic single ionic bonds are not present in this complex. 3 Cl minus ions are bind with both valencies, primary and secondary. Secondary valency means the strong bond, thick bond means strong bond, dotted bond means weak bond. If only dotted bonds are present, those are ionizable, but in this complex all are bind with secondary valency, that is thick line. So this complex does not undergo ionization process on hydrolysis, and when it is treated with AgNO3 solution, no AgCl precipitate is formed. Once we see the structure of this complex cobalt, 3 Cls are satisfied both the valencies, primary and secondary valencies. So here no weak bond or ionic bond is present. Both valencies are present, means the chlorines are strongly bind with the metal atom, so these chlorines are not ionizable and they do not react with AgNO3 solution, so no formation of AgCl precipitate here. That is the fourth complex. Okay, 4 complexes we have discussed. First complex is COCl3 6NH3. So there 6 secondary valency is satisfied with ammonium molecules and 3 primary valencies are satisfied by Cl minus. and second is COCl3 5NH3. So in that complex only one Cl shows dual nature, means one Cl satisfied both the valencies primary and secondary valency. Third complex is COCl3 4NH3. In that complex two Cls are satisfied both the valencies primary and secondary valency, only one Cl is free Cl is there. Last complex is COCl3 3NH3. In this complex all the Cls are, means 3 Cl minus are satisfied both the valencies primary and secondary valency, there is no free Cl in this complex. So this complex do not undergo hydrolysis process and this do not react with AgNO3 solution and form precipitate. This is about Werner's theory with example. Next is defects of Werner's theory or drawbacks of Werner's theory. If any theory, there are some drawbacks or defects. Same like Werner's theory also having some defects. Let us discuss. Werner's theory do not explain the magnetic and color properties of complexes. This is one of the drawback. What is that? Werner's theory do not explain the magnetic properties and color properties of the metal complexes. And second drawback is it does not correlate with the electronic configuration. This is the second drawback. And third is it does not explain about stability of complexes. These three are the defects of Werner's theory. Do not explain the magnetic properties and color properties and does not correlate with the electronic configuration and not explain about stability of complexes. These are the drawbacks of Werner's theory. Next is valence bond theory. This is one of the most important theory in coordination compounds. VBT, valence bond theory. This theory was proposed by Linus Pauling, scientist. This theory to explain the electronic structure, kind of bonding, geometry and magnetic properties. Linus Pauling proposed this theory. The main purpose of this theory is what? Explain electronic structure, kind of bonding, means what is the electronic structure of complexes and which type of bonds are present in that complex, and geometry, shape of the complexes and magnetic properties of the complexes. To explain these properties, Linus Pauling proposed this valence bond theory. The main postulates of this theory are: the central metal ion should accommodate a number of s, p and d atomic orbitals equal to its coordination number. Each of the metal is having a particular coordination number. According to that coordination number, the metal should accommodate the orbitals also, even s orbital, p orbital, d orbital, whatever it may be, metal should accommodate the orbitals equal to its coordination number. Those also vacant orbitals. Metal should contain vacant orbitals of s, p, d. That number of orbitals is equals to the coordination number of that metal. Next point is these vacant orbitals hybridize together to form hybrid orbitals. First, Empty orbitals of this metal undergo hybridization process and form hybrid orbitals with same number, which are the same in number as the atomic orbitals hybridization together. First, atomic orbitals undergo hybridization process and form hybrid orbitals. For example, S and one s orbital, one p orbital is undergo hybridization. Coordination number is 2. If the metal coordination number is 2, one of the s orbital, one of the p orbital undergo hybridization and form two hybrid sp orbitals. Here coordination number is 2, hybridization is sp, geometry and structure of the complex is linear. This is common for all complexes. If any metal is having coordination number 2, hybridization is sp. The geometry of the complex is linear. If the coordination number is 3, here hybridization is sp2. Structure of the complex is trigonal planar shape. If the coordination number is 4, here two possibilities are there. One is sp3 hybridization and another one is dsp2 hybridization. Here first we say sp3 hybridization. If coordination number is 4, hybridization is sp3, then the geometry of complex is tetrahedral. If the coordination number is 4, hybridization is dsp2 or sp2d, the structure is square planar. Coordination number is 5, hybridization is dsp3 or sp3d. Structure of complex is trigonal by pyramidal structure. If the coordination number of metal is 6, hybridization is d2sp3 or sp3d2. The structure of complex is octahedral. According to valence bond theory, these are the hybridization and structure of the complexes. If the coordination number is 2, hybridization sp, geometry is linear. If the coordination number is 3, hybridization sp2, trigonal planar shape. If the coordination number of metal is 4, two possibilities are there: sp3 hybridization, dsp2 hybridization. If sp3 hybridization is present, structure of complex is tetrahedral. If dsp2 or sp2d hybridization is present, structure of complex is square planar. Metal coordination number is 5, hybridization is dsp3 or sp3d. Structure is trigonal by pyramidal. Coordination number if 6, hybridization is d2sp3 or sp3d2. Structure of the complex is octahedral. Next is vacant. Next point of valence bond theory: vacant hybrid orbitals of metal overlap with the filled orbitals of ligands to form sigma bonds. Here metal is having vacant orbitals, ligand is having filled orbitals. These two are overlap with each other and form sigma bond. Bond strength depends on extent of overlapping. Okay, that bond energies depend upon the overlapping of orbitals. If the metal ion utilizes n-1d orbitals for hybridization process, then that complex is inner d orbital complex. These also called as low spin or spin paired complexes. In hybridization process, if the metal is utilizes n minus 1 d orbital, that is the inner d orbital. So then the complex is also called as inner d orbital complex or low spin paired complex. If the metal ion utilizes Nd orbitals for hybridization process, Nd orbital means that is the outside d orbital. Nd orbital for hybridization, then outer d orbital complexes are formed. These outer d orbital complexes are also called as high spin complex or spin free complexes. If the complex has an unpaired electron, exhibit paramagnetic property. If does not having unpaired electrons, exhibit diamagnetic property. If the metal complex, in the metal complex, the metal is having at least one unpaired electron, then that metal shows paramagnetic property. If metal does not having any unpaired electrons, then that shows diamagnetic property. Under the influence of strong ligands, electrons are paired up against the Hund's rules. Hund's rule means here, according to Hund's rule, equal energy orbitals first filled by single electrons, then only paired. They will get paired. But here, in presence of strong field ligands, electrons are paired up against the Hund's rule. Here examples of some ligands, strong field ligands are Cn minus, NO2 minus, NH3, ethylene diamine, etc. are strong field ligands. Weak field ligands are the F minus, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus, H2O, OH minus. These are the weak field ligands. These are the strong field ligands. Here applications of VBT is there. Applications means according to valence bond theory, let us see some structures of complexes. This is the example for D2sp3 hybridization. Example is here hexacyanoferrate 3 ion FeCN6 3 minus hexacyanoferrate 3 ion hexacyanoferrate 3 ion. The magnetic study of this ion has shown chart. This ion has one unpaired electron, so hence this complex show paramagnetic property. Here this is the ferrous. Electronic configuration is organ 3d6 4s2 4p0 4d0. Here 3d orbitals are having 6 electrons. So first 5 orbitals are filled with 1 electron. Sixth electron is paired here, and 4s2 4s orbital having 2 electrons paired. This is the ferrous electronic configuration. Ferrous 3 plus means Fe 3 plus ion means after losing of 3 electrons, the electronic configuration of Fe 3 plus is organ 3d5 4s0 4p0 4d0. Means here Fe 3 plus loses 2 electrons from 4s orbital, 1 electron from 3d orbital. So electronic configuration is 3d5 4s0 4p0. This Fe3 plus ion in presence of Cn minus ligands. Here Cn minus ligands are present. So Cn minus is the strong field ligand. In presence of this strong field ligand, electrons are paired against to the Hund's rule. So these all electrons are first paired. Here one orbital is paired with two electrons, then electrons are enter into second orbital, and here also paired. Next fifth electron is enter into this orbital. So here electronic configuration is like this. Here 6 Cn minus ions are present. Na? These 6 Cn minus ions donate one pair of electrons to the empty orbitals of ferrous. So here 2d empty orbitals are there, 1 s is there, and 3 p orbitals are there. So here hybridization is d2 sp3 hybridization. d2 sp3 hybridization, here coordination number of metal is 6. d2 sp3 hybridization. So structure of complex is what? Octahedral complex, and here one unpaired electron is present. So this complex shows paramagnetic property. According to valence bond theory, the hexacyanoferrate 3 ion electronic configuration and hybridization structure magnetic property is like this. Hexacyanoferrate 3 ion shows d2 sp3 hybridization, octahedral structure and paramagnetic property. Next is sp3 d2 hybridization, and here also inner d orbital is present. Now here d orbital is inside present, s p are outside there, d orbital is inside d orbital, 3d. These are the 4s 4p. Here n value is 4, n minus 1 d orbital, n minus 1 means 4 minus 1 means 3. So here 3d orbital is present. So this complex is called as inner d orbital complex. Next is sp3 d2 hybridization in outer orbital octahedral complexes. This type of hybridization takes place in those octahedral complexes which contain weak ligands. Weak ligands are those which cannot force the electron of dx square y square and dz square, e.g. set of inner shell to occupy dxy, dyz and dzx orbitals, T2g set of the same shell. Thus in this hybridization, dx square y square are not available for hybridization process. Means here outer orbital complexes mainly observed in weak field ligands, in presence of weak field ligands. One of the example is here hexafluoroferrate 3 ion FeF6 3 minus. Hexafluoroferrate 3 ion, here fluorine is the weak field ligand F minus. Here ferrous electronic configuration organ 3d6 4s0 4p0 4d0. Here 3d is having 6 electrons, 4s is 2 electrons. After losing of 3 electrons, Fe 3 plus is formed. Here configuration is 3d5. 3 d orbitals 5 d orbitals are having 1 electron, but these unpaired electrons do not undergo paired up because here weak field ligand is present. So this weak field ligand cannot force on electrons or orbitals. So these 5 unpaired electrons present as it is. So here 6 F minus ligands are occupied outer 2 d orbitals. Means here empty orbitals are 1 4s is there, 3 4p are there, and from 4d orbitals 2d orbitals are participates in hybridization. Total 6f minus r donates 6 pairs of electrons to the empty orbitals, empty hybrid orbitals, and form bond. Here also hybridization is sp3d2. sp3d2 hybridization is present. sp3d2 means 6 coordination number octahedral complex. Here also 5 unpaired electrons are present, so it is also paramagnetic property. Fe 3 minus complex shows sp3d2 hybridization, octahedral structure, paramagnetic property. And next complexes is 4 coordinated complexes. Now we have seen that 6 coordination complexes. Now is the 4 coordinated complex is there. Here two possibilities are there na, dsp2 hybridization and sp3 hybridization. Here first we see dsp2 hybridization. dsp2 hybridization means structure is square planar complex. Example is tetracyanonickelate 2 ion. Tetracyanonickelate 2 ion. Here nickel atomic number is 28, configuration is organ 3d8 4s2 3d8 4s2 3d8 4s2 nickel plus 2 means after losing of 2 electrons 3d8 4s0. Okay, this is the when tetracyanonickelate 2 ion has tetrahedral geometry. If the tetrahedral geometry is present, electronic configuration is like this. But now we can see the dsp2 hybridization now. So let us see here nickel 3d8 4s2 after losing of 2 electrons 3d8 4s0. But here strong field ligand Cn minus is present na? So here these two unpaired electrons get into paired up. So here one of the 3d orbital is vacant after the pairing of electrons. So one d orbital, one s orbital, two p orbitals are participates in hybridization process. So it is dsp2 hybridization process. dsp2 hybridization. So structure is square planar structure. Here coordination number is 4. Coordination number 4 dsp2 hybridization, and here no unpaired electron is present. No unpaired electron is present, so this complex shows diamagnetic property. Next is sp3 hybridization in tetrahedral complexes. The example is tetrachloronickelate 2 ion. Here also first nickel atom, electronic configuration is organ 3d8 4s2 4p0 3d8 4s2. After losing of 2 electrons nickel plus 2 is formed na. Electronic configuration of nickel plus 2 ion is 3d8 4s0. But here Cl is a weak field ligand, so this Cl do not force on pairing of electrons, so 3d8 electrons present as it is in hybridization. Vacant orbitals of outside are participated, so one s orbital, 3 p orbitals are participates in hybridization. So here 4 Cl minus ions donates a pair of electrons to the sp3 orbitals. So here hybridization is sp3 hybridization, and the structure is tetrahedral structure. Magnetic property is paramagnetic property. Two unpaired electrons are present na, so it shows paramagnetic nature. Tetrachloronickelate 2 ion shows sp3 hybridization. Structure is tetrahedral. Magnetic property is paramagnetic property. Okay, next limitations of valence bond theory or drawbacks of valence bond theory. There are many limitations of VBT theory. Some of them are: valence bond theory cannot account for the relative stabilities for the different shapes and different coordination numbers in metal complexes. Example, it cannot explain satisfactorily as to why cobalt 2 D8 system rarely form tetrahedral complexes. And this theory cannot account for the relative rates of reactions of the metal complexes. Some examples are there. The classification of metal complexes on the basis of their magnetic behavior into equivalent and ionic complexes is not satisfactory, and it often mislead. VBT cannot interpret the spectrum color of the complexes. This theory does not predict the magnetic behaviors of complexes. This theory only predicts the number of unpaired electrons. Based on that unpaired electrons, only determine the type of magnetic property. This is about today's session. Two theories we have discussed. One is Werner's theory and valence bond theory. Werner's theory: what are the postulates are present, and some examples we have discussed. Next, valence bond theory. Valence bond theory postulates and some of the applications we have discussed, and limitations of valence bond theory, defects of Werner's theory also discussed. Okay students, hope you understood. This is about today's session. Thank you.